Goes in with a punch, misses a strike. 1v1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20. A dignified battle in an isolated field, a tight spot makes a tight fight. However it's set on screen, a mark of a great action film is, well, the action. How good does it look? Is it believable? And if not believable, then at least does it look cool? And of course, the film critic in me has to ask how well it ties into and supports the other elements of the movie. This is even more so for films that depict an extreme amount of violence, what they call in the biz hyperviolence. But what separates gratuitous violence and effective hyperviolence in film is whether the action has a purpose beyond spectacle and shock value. And for me, there's bonus points if it develops the audience understanding of the characters whilst doing it, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Some would argue that the John Wick franchise has a gratuitous amounts of violence, and they would be correct in thinking that the film's main draw are the massive amounts of complex action sequences. And I suppose it has to be. King Keanu has 484 words in John Wick 1, 499 words in John Wick 2, 410 in the third movie, and 383 in chapter 4. So with the combined word count of a back-to-school essay on what you did over the last summer break, people are certainly not going to come for the dialogue. But I would argue that the incredible amount of violence is completely warranted in the John Wick series, because the increasingly ridiculous amount of enemies and fights that John Wick survives is entirely in keeping with his character. The expectation for Wick's unbelievable fighting prowess is set at the start of the first film. They called him Baba Yaga, a Russian witch that is either presented as a vicious supernatural creature known to consume lives, or a benevolent entity acting as a force for good. Basing the main feature of your character on their almost mystical fighting ability means that only extreme, plentiful, and creatively varied action will be enough to not underwhelm the audience. Leon the Professional uses hyperviolence to cleverly establish Leon's character, but only in order to intrigue and surprise the audience later on. The start of the film uses some extreme close-up shots on old Tony the mob boss's eyes and mouth, on Leon's darkened glasses which don't show his eyes but only what he's looking at, which is his next hit, shown as an insert shot. From this start, we get the impression that Leon is mysterious, unknowable, and deeply focused on the job at hand. And this expectation is fulfilled in the brutal fight sequence in the next scene. Despite the carnage he wreaks as he disposes of all the lackeys, he is completely hidden in the shadows. In fact, we only get a full shot of Leon's face 7 or so minutes into the movie, despite pulling off this epic assassination sequence with multiple heavies. The action sequence not only succeeds in showcasing Leon's fighting prowess, but also subtly indicates that we don't really know his character at all. All we have is the perception of the character he wants to project to the outside world. So it comes as a surprise when we see that Leon cares deeply for his houseplant, only drinks milk, and shows concern for 12-year-old Matilda and the bruise she has on her face. In other words, when the audience discover how caring, soft-hearted, and perhaps childish Leon is deep down, it comes as a surprising reveal, but not inconsistent with his altogether character development. By using violence to emphasize Leon's mystique, the reveal of Leon's kindness and other softer traits also appear more surprising and compelling. Similarly, it makes his overall character more sympathetic to the audience without it seeming artificial or contrived for the plot, despite the violence he commits throughout the movie. Monkey Man's presentation of its violence is essential in understanding the main character's development as a freedom fighter. Thematically, the film could be divided into 2 sections. Before the main character confronts his childhood trauma, the violence is brutal and messy. The fight sequences are scrappy and the camera work is jittery and agitated, excited but unstable, all representing the character's inexperience and uncontrollable rage due to his personal revenge mission against the political elite that destroyed his village. After an integral spiritual scene where the main character confronts his trauma, the fights are more streamlined and the camera shots more stable. Not only has the character developed his fighting skills, he's also broadened his resolve from indulging in an individual revenge story to becoming the national crusader of political change. But filmmakers don't necessarily need multiple scenes to fully establish a character. Sometimes, if you're good, you only need one. In Reservoir Dogs, Mr. Blonde's sadistic nature is mentioned several times, but before the iconic scene with the kidnapped policeman, it's not really showcased. Instead of slowly revealing Mr. Blonde's character through increasingly twisted action scenes, we basically have just one. But it's so shocking that it completely satisfies the audience's curiosity. The juxtaposition between the upbeat track Stuck in the Middle with You by Steeler's Wheel and the vile torture within the scene instantly solidifies Mr. Blonde's sadistic personality and justifies the previous foreshadowing made about Mr. Blonde's character. Also, this scene is a perfect example of Reservoir Dogs' chief method of storytelling, that is, the puzzle piece-like reveal of events, characters, and motivations over the movie's runtime. So it's crazy how useful and creative hyperviolence can be in a film if applied correctly. So if there's any other great uses of excessive violence in films you've seen, let me know in the comment section, because I want to add more to my watch list. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!